Last year, we had the pleasure of interacting with Dilnawaz when he had purchased a property in our project Hamlet by the Bay, which is a gated complex with top tier amenities at Central Goa. If you haven't watched that video, you can go to our YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Today, we are here to have an interaction with him to understand how his experience has been for the second time. And this time, he's been an investor with us in a commercial premises in a project called Park the Principes at Vadem. We sit down to have a chat to understand why his story is truly worth sharing with our community at Mohidin Properties and Holdings and to the future investor. For those who haven't watched our previous video, would you like to introduce yourself, tell about your investment journey, investment with us?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dilnawaz Warisi. I'm a software engineer by profession, but I'm also a YouTuber. I've started my journey on YouTube last year where I started teaching about investing in stocks, mutual funds and real estate. And that is exactly, I was exploring the properties across India because I'm someone who's a very diversified investor. And that brought me to Goa to find a good piece of land or villa. I was completely unsure. And that is when I met you guys. Just for the audience, I have purchased 2 properties from Mohidins. One is a residential property I purchased in Hamlet by the Bay 2 years ago probably, and the other one I purchased 1 year ago, which is a commercial property. Reason and rationale behind all those properties is on my channel, but that's my journey into real estate.
Reflecting on that journey, what stood out most for you? The delivery, the commitment, what was that really stood out for you?
The most, Mukul, I think, coming from the north, I'm based out of Delhi, Gurgaon, Delhi, NCR, where if you talk about real estate, it's always about, I just don't want to say it in this live video, but basically when you work with a lot of real estate developers in the north, there are a lot of problems. Delays are extremely common. It's like very common. If there's not a delay, then you'll be surprised. Delays are extremely common. Quality is a concern all the time. In fact, I don't want to name any builder right now, but look at all the builders who have done tremendously well in the last 10-15 years in the north, and then suddenly they'll go bankrupt. Their head, their CEOs, their top management people would be in the jail. The problem is quality, the problem is delays, and the problem is at the same time matching the words with actually what they deliver. Integrity is not exactly there. And what stood out here at Mohidins, although it was my first property when I was buying a residential piece with you guys, the clarity, the first interaction I had with you, in fact, the whole Mohidins group, it was amazing. The clarity was great. Professionalism is something I look at. I'm a software engineer. I'm not someone who does real estate all the time. I'm someone who has to trust people. I can't do all those things which other people can do, but I don't have time for all of those things. So clarity. Then I like the transparency and professionalism. And eventually, what I realized after a year, I had to trust you guys in the beginning, but eventually, when I saw the outcome, then the words were exactly matching what you were proposing a year ago. And that was the beauty of it. That quality has never been compromised. That professionalism has never been compromised. Timely updates to me have always been given, and a very professional team to work with. Plus a hassle-free experience, to be honest. I have to come to Goa just for a day and you arrange everything for me. That saves a lot of hassle for me because I have a job that requires my attention. So that stood out, and which is very rare to find in any real estate developer in India, at least the one I've worked with.
From the last video, what kind of response you got from the people who are in your network, from the people who are in your friend circle, maybe connected with you socially?
Sure. So even before I launched my video on my YouTube, there are like 2 more people who were interested, super interested when I bought a property, and you know it. The plot I purchased, they were so excited about it. They saw the pictures, they saw the videos, they saw a lot of things, and they immediately bought the remaining 2 plots. So that was the first from friends and family. They immediately purchased a few properties with Mohidins. The video that I released, it was approximately 3 months ago when I released that video, which was about my commercial property because it was about to get leased. I want to make a very transparent video explaining the numbers, how much I had invested, what's the time span, and how much is the return now. The video had been getting a lot of attention from a lot of people in India because my user base is generally who are in the age group of 22 to 38, someone who really want to buy their first home or have the sufficient money to actually go ahead and buy something in real estate. they were excited. Goa has always been a place where people had never thought about buying land or buying property. It had been a tourist spot. It's simple. When you want to drink and you want to go to the beach, that is when you come to Goa, enjoy for a week and then go back. No one thinks about owning a piece of land in Goa or owning a villa in Goa. That narrative is kind of changing. In fact, I think I am doing a bit of my work there, where I've been very transparently expressing why I'm buying properties in Goa and why I'm doing that. So my audience had been very interested in, like, they asked me a couple of questions like, sir, और videos लाइए channel पे गोवा के बारे में, क्यों गोवा खरीदना चाहिए, किस टाइप की प्रॉपर्टी खरीदनी चाहिए, गोवा में खरीद भी सकते हैं लोग कि नहीं. So a lot of questions like that, where they just wondering if they can buy a plot in Goa or a property in Goa, and if yes, why should they buy it. So a lot of interest, to be honest, in Goa's property market, because now obviously post-COVID, people have this work from home culture. A lot of people have it. So why to live in Delhi if they can live in Goa, with less than 100 AQI and less traffic and beautiful place. So I think I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure you must have received some calls from someone because I've tagged you guys as well in that video. So yeah, a lot of interest from the viewers.
Did your earlier experience of transacting while you were in the process of acquiring this piece of land play a big role in purchasing once again with us?
100%. 100, literally. I would say I did less research when I was buying commercial property from you guys. Very less research because I trust you people. With real estate, the problem, I am more of an investor in stocks and mutual funds. Almost like 70% of my wealth is parked in equity. That is where I believe wealth building happens. But obviously real estate also matters for diversification and to add more stability. And I had never purchased a commercial property in my life. In fact, I've just heard horrors about commercial property. For example, I live in Gurgaon. Right next to me, in sector 48, if you guys know that place, but right next to me, there are malls from Omax, like 5 malls literally opposite to me. You walk into that mall, you see nothing. You see shops empty for the last 5 years.
5 years?
Yes. Nothing. I've shifted to Gurgaon in 2020, approximately 2020. From that day, I'm seeing it. That mall is mostly a ghost town now. No one goes to that place, and people who had purchased that property, they're stuck. In a residential property, you can buy it, and even if it's a bad quality flat or a land or a villa, whatever it is, you can live it. It at least has some use, or you can give it on rent. People always, that's a necessity. You can't do that with a commercial property. If you have purchased a shop in a mall, and that mall, no one wants to go to that mall. There's no footfall in that mall, which basically means if the mall has no shops, people would start literally come less to that mall, which eventually makes things even worse. So what I'm seeing is people have invested a lot of money.
One triggers the other.
Exactly. And now they're stuck. And all their life they'll be stuck. They can't live in that shop.
True.
They can't lease that shop.
True.
Their money is just gone. They can't even sell that shop. No one
they
would
wouldn't
buy
be
it.
buyers for that.
No one would buy it. So the reason I got a commercial property from you, 100% the reason was conversation I had with you and the entire team, the trust. I believe that you guys won't cheat. At least that's a trust I have in you guys. Plus the kind of transparency and professionalism you had. Plus a bit of research I did. Obviously, I'm not someone who would blindly invest. So, the width of the road outside that property, shops I purchased from you guys. One side I had Mr. DIY, the other side Wellness Forever. It was an established commercial area. An established area. So it's not something...
Good visibility,
exactly,
has good frontage.
Very good visibility, very wide roads, and then a lot of people going around, and then established. A lot of brands everywhere. I did a lot of research as well. I went to the shops nearby, asked them, how much are you paying on rent and all those things. It was decent. So I thought, I trust these people. The numbers make sense. The property market looks good here. I should go ahead and invest. And I just invested.
What is it that lured you to investing in a commercial property versus several options being available for residential property?
Sure. So I think I've covered this in my YouTube as well. Majority, 70% of my wealth goes to equity. Now the remaining 30%, it should go to something else, something for stability. When I talk about stability, the first thing I thought I would buy real estate or residential. At the end, you need a house to live in. You want something. Goa is a beautiful place. I wanted to spend the rest of my life in Goa. So a residential place. Now, what to do after that? I am invested in stocks, mutual funds, residential real estate, gold, silver. After a point when you earn certain amount of money or have some wealth, you want cash flows. And that is exactly I was looking at when I purchased a commercial property. The beauty of a commercial property is it has a higher rental yield. To buy a commercial property, the major reason was A, I'll put in X amount. That amount would be appreciated because the shops I was buying from you guys, I was fairly confident of that area that the prices will go up. So that is the capital appreciation on that piece that I'm buying. That is one. So let's say if I grow that by 10%, I'm almost beating or reaching nifty level. That is great. Second, I always talk about passive income on my channel. After a while, let's say I talk about retirement at 30. If you call yourself retired, you need at least the expenses you have per month should be funded by something that you don't have to actively work for.
True.
And that was a major reason. When I purchased these shops, the idea was I'll probably have rent approximately 1 to 1.5 lakh a month based on my calculation. And I think it's going pretty well now that we've talked about the brands as well, which basically means my monthly expenses are in the range of less than 1 lakh, which meant I'll own these shops. The property will get appreciated every year. Plus every month I'll get money out of this, which can be used to fund my expenses. And
at this point of time, since you're working, these can be used to fund your further investments in stocks, mutual funds.
Now this money I will buy, if just for the viewers who are likely into investing, this money which I'll get, since I'm actively working right now, I don't need this money to fund my expenses. So I'll take a bigger loan and take the EMI, and this money will go to that EMI, which will help me build a new property. And then I'll pay nothing for it. And then with that rent, I'll buy another property.
So you go on building up.
I go on building up at least till 35, and then I'll stop and then I'll just relax and live my life.
Now that we've concluded the transaction, is there something that you would like to share with the viewers?
Yep. In fact, a lot of things. The first thing I want to share is when you buy real estate, you're not putting in 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees. It's not like that. It's something where you have to deploy a lot of money in one go, which basically means you have to have trust. If the people you're dealing with are not trustworthy, don't go with that. What I really want to share with my experience within the transaction as well is A, the trust was there. B, you went beyond my expectation. I thought after I'll buy a property from you, this commercial property, I was already working with a lot of brokers in Delhi who would help me rent out these shops. But interestingly, you found all those deals for me directly. It was very helpful, to be honest, because brokers in Delhi don't know much about Goa. I live in Gurgaon. I don't know much about Goa. I can't come to Goa every day or work with brokers here. Since you came into the picture, again, this was not something I expected you would do, because your job was to just give me the shops, and that's the end. But I'm really thankful that you guys helped me. Plus, you also saved me the brokerage. You got me a direct deal with multiple brands, to be honest. So I had a lot of options to choose. Almost everything depends on the people you work with. I trust you guys. You go beyond the expectation. The way you have ensured the experience was smooth. And even after delivering what you had promised, you went an extra mile and got me the tenants as well. So that was, again, really appreciable. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I think that is a very inspiring summing up line by Dilnawaz, and we would continue the good work. Thank you very much for joining us.